Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me today because we are looking at a truly fascinating piece of source material titled The Genesis of Light and Cosmic Density. This text presents a highly unique framework, one that ambitiously blends deeply rooted creation theology with an entirely alternative, geocentric model of the universe. We're going to look at how this author attempts to bridge the massive gap between ancient scripture and mathematical physics. It is a captivating journey of ideas, and we're going to break it all down clearly right here. Okay, so here is our roadmap for today. We'll be starting with the origin of everything, moving into light, matter, and spirit, exploring the shaping of the heavens and earth, examining a geocentric universe model, and finally, we'll wrap up by looking at the laws of cosmic density. Let's get right into it. So, Part 1. The origin of everything, specifically before time and space even existed. To really wrap our heads around this framework, we gotta zoom way out, like literally before time and physical space were even a thing. The text defines God as the first without beginning and the last without end, meaning there was absolutely nothing before him. So you might be wondering, how did the concept of something come from absolutely nothing? Well, the text argues that creation started with a very precise cosmic catalyst, the will, and it defines this strictly as a combination of two necessary components, the intention to do something combined with the power or the actual ability to fulfill it. So once that will kicks in, what exactly is the universe being made out of? The source material proposes that everything originates directly from the light, and specifically, it clarifies that this light is uncreated. It wasn't just some random external material lying around waiting to be used. Rather, it emanates directly from the Creator himself.
Moving right along to Section 2, Light, Matter, and Spirit, the Chain of Creation.
Now, what's really interesting about this next section is how the source material constructs a step-by-step physical timeline. We move straight from the purely divine into the tangible. The text proposes this exact cascade. First, the uncreated light creates the atom. From atoms come the elements. From elements come matter and water. And finally, from water, every living thing is created. The text explicitly states that absolutely everything, whether we're talking about iron, water, or the air you breathe, originates entirely from this single source of divine light.
And this perfectly illustrates the text's dualistic view on existence. Creation is divided into the visible and the inner. A material body, whether it's an inanimate object or a human being, is built from those visible, light elements, like mud or iron. But the text argues that this material shell actually requires the inner spirit to be breathed into it to become alive. The source points to the creation of Adam as the prime example here, a physical body formed from elements which only gained life when that life-giving force was actually breathed into it.
All right, on to Part 3, Shaping Heavens and Earth, or what we can call the architectural blueprint.
So let's look at the macro level here. The text treats the physical construction of the universe almost like a grand architectural blueprint. To do this, it establishes an engineering timeline of 6 days, but there's a catch. These aren't your standard 24-hour days. Based on the premise that one divine day is equal to 1,000 years of our human accounting, this construction phase actually took exactly 6,000 human years. Think of it like deliberately structuring a massive house. During this 6,000-year engineering phase, the source asserts that the heavens and the earth, which actually started out as contiguous, joined flakes, were forcefully separated. This created a vast vacuum between them. The resulting structure left the sky as a protected ceiling and the earth positioned specifically as a place of settlement. This careful, deliberate structuring sets the stage for the physical laws we're going to explore in just a second.
Which brings us to Section 4, a geocentric universe model, the center of it all.
Now here is where the explainer takes a major pivot and diverges pretty heavily from mainstream modern science. Building on that idea of Earth as a settlement, the text establishes our planet as the lowest center of the entire universe. On the left, we have what the text notes as the claims of astronomers, a heliocentric model where the Earth revolves around the sun. But over on the right is the text's firm cosmological stance, a strict geocentric model. The source asserts that the sun, the moon, and all 7 planets are engaged in a constant passage around a stationary Earth. But here's a highly specific, kind of surprising detail. While the Earth is the stationary center of the universe's orbit in this model, it does actually have a rotation on its own axis. But get this, it rotates at an incredibly slow speed of about 3 miles per hour. That's essentially a brisk walking pace.
The author beautifully compares this slow, imperceptible movement to the passing of clouds, suggesting this is exactly why mountains appear rigid to us, even though they are technically in motion.
So, if we look at the full cosmic architecture presented in the source, it's a real marvel of proposed design. Earth sits right there at the lowest center. Surrounding it is the lower sky, within which the sun, moon, and 7 planets orbit. And right above this lower sky, the text asserts there are 7 heavens, structured in perfect equal layers. It emphasizes an absolute flawlessness to this structure, stating there is zero inconsistency and absolutely no breaks in the sky whatsoever.
And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, Laws of Cosmic Density, or Alternative Physics. Finally, we funnel all the way down to the actual mathematical mechanics of it all. And here is a real game changer. The text completely replaces the concept of gravity with the theory of cosmic density. Think of it almost like cosmic buoyancy. Objects take their positions and move in their orbits based entirely on their own self-density relative to the Earth. The Earth is treated as the universal center and serves as the mathematical base unit of exactly 1. Density alone dictates where every single object in the universe must position itself.
Based on this idea, the text breaks down 3 proposed laws. Notice how they structurally mirror classical Newtonian physics, but instead of mass and gravity, the currency here is cosmic density and earthly positioning. Law 1 states objects maintain their state of motion or rest as long as they stay in their specified density level. Law 2 ties the change in an object's motion proportionally to the disturbance in its density level. And Law 3 states that the force acting between objects relates directly to the differences in their respective densities and positions.
And the whole shebang culminates in this specific equation. Force 1 plus density 1 minus force 2 plus density 2 equals the total net force. The author uses this equation to bridge that massive conceptual gap we started with. This is the ultimate attempt to connect the abstract, infinite divine intention of the will straight down to tangible mathematics that you could literally write out on a chalkboard.
Which honestly leaves us with a pretty profound question to reflect on. How do alternative frameworks like this challenge us to think about our own perspectives? Regardless of where you stand on mainstream science versus alternative theories, this text highlights humanity's enduring, passionate desire to perfectly unify the mystical, theological origins of creation with the rigid, predictable mathematical laws of physics. It's a fascinating attempt to build a single, unbroken bridge from the infinite divine all the way down to the orbit of a single planet. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this sparked your curiosity to always keep learning.